Today we're going to do yoga with the chair, and I'm quite excited because this is the first time it's rained properly and I've had my new microphone, so I'm hoping that the sound quality will be a bit better. So if you'd like to sit down on your chair, don't sit on it like you're waiting for, oh, I just bashed my head. Don't sit on it like you're waiting for someone to bring you some tea or something like that. Sit on it like you're about to do some yoga. So allow the front face of the spine to lift, the lower back to feel long, but that the tailbone feels like it's plugged in. If you wanted to get energy from a socket, yeah, you've got the plug and it has to plug in. So here we plug the buttock bones down and the tailbone down. So think about the trinity of those three spaces. And then relax the shoulders, release across the collarbones, and bring the hands to Namaskarasan. Take 3 more noticed breaths. So just observe them. Observe if you're breathing evenly into the left and the right side of the chest. On your third exhale, bow the head down. Release the hands, raise the head up, and open the eyes. Let's start with Tadasana. So it's great, you can use Tadasana to really get the weight into your heels, especially if you bring your front thighs right against the front of the chair and wriggle your feet in until you feel the weight is in your heels and you feel like your bottom's sticking out just a tiny bit. And then pressurize your fingers onto the chair and then take the tailbone down. Okay, and observe what happens to the feet. Observe how the toes actually, they kind of start to want to reach forwards. So don't let the toes grip the floor, let the toes lengthen along the floor. Trust your heels and trust your buttocks. And you'll start to notice also that your buttock flesh will come down, the buttocks will grip a little bit more, and your thighs might be working a little more strongly there. Take the shoulder blades deep into the back, press the arms down to lift the front and the back of the ribs. Often we just lift the front of the rib cage, but think about the rib cage as a whole and lift the whole rib cage up. And observe, how does it feel? Where are you working a little stronger? Does it bring relief anywhere? Allow the abdomen to be responsive to the breath, so you're not holding any tightness around the abdominal area. But you should feel that there's a nice lift from the pelvic floor up to just below the navel. And that's not you actively doing it, that's because the legs are working properly. Let the shoulders feel wide, tongue passive, and keep the eyes still. Try not to let the eyes shoot around here and there. Keep them nice and steady. And as the eyes become quiet, you'll notice the mind might come a little quieter. No, the video hasn't crashed, I just became quiet. I don't know if you can hear the wind and the rain. And then exhale, release. Now you're going to turn around and put your bottom against the chair. And this time you're holding from the back. So this is really good for the chest. And as you stretch the arms down, feel that the weight again is back in the heels. You can have your feet a little bit apart. And if your lower back is achy, just take those heels out and see if that helps it. And then again, look directly forwards. Slightly pressurize with your hands and stretch down through the fingers. Shoulder blades deep into the back, collarbones broad. Look directly forwards, nice soft throat. And breathe. Check that the blades of the feet are in good contact with the floor, that the weight is in the heels. And you're not forcing the kneecaps back, you're drawing the front of the thighs back, up. and the back of the knees are opening beautifully. Extending the arms down for your Tadasana. And then exhale, release. We're going to do a modified Vrikshasana next. So if you turn the chair this way, you can stand quite close to the chair. You're going to bend up your right leg. Make sure the chair is stable. So the safest place to put the foot is sort of towards the middle. Don't step towards the back of the chair. Can you see how it rocks? So you want to make sure that that is stable. And just allow the leg to come out to the side. You can work on that standing leg. And then you can raise both arms up if you feel comfortable to do so. If you feel wobbly, you can always take the chair back in against the wall and then have your body against the wall there. And now arches of the foot lifted, toes long, and stretch up. Again, keep the eyes passive, eyes quiet, abdominal area nice and soft. Elbows in and up. And if the legs start to tire, you can always come down. We're going to hold this for about 20 to 30 seconds. Extend to the fingers. Feel the strength in the standing leg. And then exhale. Release the arms and release the leg down. Change the chair to the other side. So just tip the chair over, bring it around. Or if you've got two chairs, lots of Iyengar practitioners seem to have two chairs. You could stand in between them. And then you can take the leg up. So you're going to bend the left. So start in Tadasana. Feel how the legs hold you here. Bring the weight or the awareness down into your right leg now. Pick the left leg up. Turn it out to the side again. And find your balance. Have the tailbone in the middle. And then raise the arms up again. Weight in the heels so that the roots of the tree, your toes are lengthening forwards and not gripping the floor. Activate the buttocks, so the center buttock, press it forwards. Let the knee, inner groin to inner knee, lengthen there. And breathe. Stretch up through the inner arms, soft throat. Standing leg nice and strong, but it doesn't mean you can't be in that raised leg as well. Lift from the navel to the fingers, one last extension, and then exhale, release. Release the leg down. Now, if you can't balance or you know that your knees won't bend to a Vrikshasana angle, you can repeat that. Otherwise, if you take the chair now and spin it around, you've got, this is your right leg, left leg is going to be your standing leg, your right leg is going to be the raised leg. You can now rest towards the chair, pick up that right leg and bring the foot to Vrikshasana. And you can use the chair for really holding you while you work on your posture in this pose. So don't think of it as like, oh, I've got to leave the chair. No, hold on to that chair, use it to lift the chest, use the arm, press the arm down on the back of the chair. You can bend the elbow to get a really nice support in that side of the body, and then raise up your right arm. Look directly forwards, keep the eyes soft and quiet, and lift. So you're stable. You can move the standing hip in, you can experiment with that. What if you press the outer blade of that bent leg into the thigh more? What if you, against that, if you press the buttocks forwards, can you feel how that sort of opens the inner thigh? Chest broad, eyes quiet, tongue passive. And then exhale, release, and release the leg. Now, before we race to the other side, just release the chair and just see how that feels in your body. And then take the chair to the other side. So I'm not gripping, I'm not holding like gripping with dear life. I'm actually using the web just to kind of use for support there. And then if I need to take a little bit more, I can. So I'm not instantly going on and holding firm. I'm using it as a support. Look, as I press the arm down, can you see how the length comes in my body there? So now pick up your left leg, foot to the top of the thigh, and allow that bent knee to go back. Move the right hip in. Let that come in. Press the left buttock forwards to open out the left inner thigh. And then raise the arm up and stretch up. And you'll find that one side is easier than the other, and depending on how close the chair is to you, it can change the properties of the pose. If the chair's in a little bit closer, like I've done mine, you might find it a little harder to hold the chair, so you might want to come down and adjust yourself. Whoop! I nearly went then. Lift the chest. Breathe. Nice extension from the navel right through to the fingertips. So it's like you're finally polishing the pose, and then release the arm and release the leg. Take some breaths there. Okay? So the next pose we're going to do is Uttanasana to the chair. So I like to use the chair seat because I like to be that little bit lower. So I want you to stand just in front of the chair like this, and as long as your back allows, you're going to go down to the chair seat. Otherwise, you can go to the chair back. So if you're going to the chair back, stand in a little bit closer. I'd show that first. Stretch up, hands come down, and step yourself back. So you make a nice right angle there. Keep the elbows supporting, so you're not going too dippy back. Keep the tailbone working. Legs back nice and firm. And extend forwards there. Okay, when it's time to come up, look forwards. Bend the legs to come forwards. And then hands there, and stretch down, okay? Otherwise, if you're going to the chair seat, not the chair back, inhale, raise the arms up, stretch up. Why do we do this? So that we can feel how much length we've got through the front of the body. So as tall as you can, but don't lose the back body either. And then exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, look forwards. And then exhale, step back. And you can go back as far as is comfortable for you. Again, trying to get the hips directly over the ankles. Keep the elbows resisting up so that there feels like there's some support underneath the arms. And then allow the head to release down. Kneecaps lifted. Breathe. Check out your knees. Not in a, hey, how you doing knees, but in a, that the kneecaps are facing directly forwards. So you can see if there's any imbalance. The inner line of the inner legs, do they look even, or does it look like you're leaning to one side or the other? And if you're not sure, if you just gently move your bottom from one side to the other, you'll see how the inner legs change shape. So you want them to be similar. Obviously we have differences left to right. We're not completely symmetrical. And don't become fanatical about it. But observe the ankles. Just check the arches are lifted. Toes are nice and long. Feet are doing similar work. Weight is similarly even. Arms are working. And then look forwards. Step forwards. Stand into the feet. If you need to bend the legs, bend the legs. Stand up. Stretch the arms down. Okay? Right, so now the next pose that we're going to do is sideways stretch using the chair. I like this. So you're going to go to your right side. So you're going to take your right leg and you sit with your right leg on the chair. Now we're not forcing anything. So it might be that your foot, this lower leg comes a little bit further forwards. You find out where the leg will go, really. Ideally, you want your knee, your hips as open as possible, but without causing discomfort. Okay. Then you're going to exhale and you're going to come down. And you can always hold the chair leg, or you might be able to reach the floor, or you can use a block for your hands. So can you see how I've made this really nice long line through here? And then you can stretch the arm over your head. Now, if you're a bit nervous of going to the floor, you can rest your elbow on your thigh. And you can use that elbow then to hold you there. And again, arm comes over the head. And you can look up towards the ceiling without too much trouble. Keep the back of the neck long. Try not to strain the eyes. Keep the eyes still and still be aware of the pressure down in the feet there. Arches lifted, toes long. It's a really good way to get rid of the toe gripping habit, which I managed to have for many, many years, and it still comes and goes. Raise the arm up, come up, and sit. To the other side. It's not like a jump. Look how exciting this is. You can slide on the chair seat. It's like shaking Stevens. Do you remember that? So now, left leg is going off. Right leg is stretching back. And just let the length go right into that back foot. See if you can get the leg at a right angle. Make sure it's comfortable on the knee. And then when you're ready, you can even stretch that left arm up and then come down. So those of you that want to rest the elbow on the thigh, you can do that using the arm to press the knee back. Otherwise, if you want to come down to the floor, come down to the floor, be on the fingertips, and then stretch the arm over the head. I did a bad habit. Don't allow the heels to lift up. I'd lifted my heel. So I have to take the weight back into my heel. Yeah, I'm just going to come up and get a really nice turn. Extend through to the fingertips. And the back of the neck remains long. Keep the toes long. Keep the heels connected. So you can really, from this hip, you can really push into that heel. And from the waist, you can stretch that top arm. And then inhale, come up. Come back to center. Okay, as you're here, you can just squeeze the knees together, squeeze the hips together, and stretch the arms up. Look up to the hands and just lean a little forwards. And press the heels down. As you press the heels down, feel you're not lifted, but you can feel the back body working. Extend up, extend up, extend up. And then exhale, release. It's a little mini chair pose we stuck in there. You want to do it again? So see if you can step your heels back a little bit more, and that will give you a nice length for those calves. Make sure that they're still on the floor though. All right? Fold from the hips. And as long as your body allows, take the arms up without too much strain. Okay, extend, keep the back of the neck nice and long, and then look up softly towards the space between your hands. Work the legs, heels down, toes long. Breathe. Release the head down and sit back in the chair. How lovely is that? That makes me think of Garudasan. Garudasan is on a chair is marvellous. So you're just going to now, you're going to cross your right leg over the left. Now if that's enough, that's all you need to do. If you want to wrap that foot around the calf, if your legs will allow, you can do that. Otherwise you can just cross the legs there. And then take your right arm and wrap it underneath. And you can think about rolling those groins down, gripping the hips together, and looking directly forwards. Now you can look directly forwards and you can stare at your thumb, or you can look directly forwards and your arms become a little bit invisible. So look past the arms, fingers, drop those shoulders down. And then exhale, release. Squeeze the back of the chair, open up the chest, grip the hips back together. Now take your left leg over the right, wrapping it round if you can. Take your left arm under the right. Again, you can press the hands together, drop that top arm down so the shoulder comes down a little bit and lift the elbows up. Again, you can try eye exercises, so you can stare at your thumb, which depending on your age might look more blurry. I got my first pair of glasses just recently. And then look to the wall or look out further. So you're using your distance vision and your focal vision I suppose it's focal vision anyway, but nearsightedness and farsightedness. Sorry, all the opticians who are listening to this. And then exhale, release, and release your legs. Okay, now really squeeze those legs together again. Grip the thighs. That's it. And then let go. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do Uttanasana again to get a nice stretch out, Ardha. And then we're going to just do an Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, a back bend. Okay? So let's do Uttanasana. So we can stretch back. So if you want to watch this, just allow yourself to lengthen. Okay? And just let the body stretch out from the cross legs. If you've got a brick, you can always put a brick between the thighs, or you can squeeze those thighs together. So you're molding yourself back into the shape of you. Step forwards and then squeeze your hips together. Okay? Now, the next thing before we do Urdhva Mukha, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to turn around, sit back down onto the chair, hold the chair seat. So I'm not grabbing the chair seat, but you can if you hold a little bit lower, and just lift the chest away. Yeah? Lift that chest up. Keep the lumbar spine long. And you can look up as long as there's a gradual curve in the neck. Don't let there be a fold or crease in the neck. And then exhale, look forwards. Look up. Exhale, look forwards. One more time, look up. Exhale, look forwards. So then we're going to do like a plank pose using the chair, because I want you to first of all, again, feel your legs. So my thumbs are on the chair and my fingers are holding the sides of the chair. So just make sure that feels very secure for you. And I'm going to step the legs back. So I'm making myself a nice straight line, contract the buttocks and stretch back into the heels. Can you see? So I've stretched those heels back. And now from my hips to my knees are working very strongly. I'm shouting, I apologise. And then you can just stretch back a little. Okay, you want to try again? So go forwards, just come to a nice straight line. Looking directly forwards, shoulders away from the ears. And then release again, just take the pressure off. So when you go into your Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, you want to keep that same sense of groundedness down, so then the upper body can evenly elongate front and back. So you're not just going dippy back into the lower back, which is why you want this area to open this way, to keep the nice flow through the front of the body. So take your chair, work your legs. You're going to stay on the toes and stretch the heels back. And then exhale, open the chest and look forward. So you've now allowed yourself to come into this little back bend shape. And then exhale, come back. You can inhale, come forwards, keep the legs working, keep the knees tight, keep the buttocks moving down towards the buttock creases to open up those hip flexors, legs firm, look up, and exhale, go back. Again, come forwards, inhale, and exhale, go back. Now, if that was comfortable to do, we're now going to go forwards one more time and just hold it for maybe 20 seconds or so. So come forwards, drive from the tailbone forwards, shoulder blades deep into the back, open the chest, and look up. Press down into the hands. Keep the legs working, stretching the heels back. Make sure that your arms are pressing down to lift the chest. And then exhale, release the head and take the hips back. Walk your feet forwards just a little bit. And then step forwards to come up. So you're going to do Bharavajasana. and you're going to turn to the right. So take your right thigh in against the chair. So we've turned the chair sideways. So you're sitting to the side of the chair. And again, check if your legs are quite short, put some foam pads either side of the chair. Otherwise, keep the knees together, keep the hips gripping. You're going to turn to the right. So right arm on the chair. Exhale, turn. Turn the head and look over your right shoulder. And then release. Spin around. Left side, so you're turning to the left. Left leg is in against the chair. Left arm is on the chair back. Turn. Looking over your left shoulder. And if you think about looking over your left shoulder, but you're using your right eye to look that way, keep the back of the neck nice and long. And then release. First side again. Spin around, lift and turn. Look over your right shoulder. Releasing any grips around the tissues of the back. Abdominal area nice and soft, rotating around the hips, rib cage rotating, shoulder blades, particularly that right shoulder blade. Allow that to move in towards the back. Spread out that left shoulder blade so we're not making ourselves small, we're expanding and turning. Left eye is looking to the right. Notice how when you look through the opposite eye, how it changes your whole perspective. I have an invisible nose. And then release, second side. Don't give yourself eye strain though. It's not worth it. So don't overdo. Ready? Let's turn to the left, lift and turn. Lift through the chest, look over your left shoulder with your right eye. Don't strain the neck. Allow the breath to be wide and smooth. Breathe. And then exhale, release. Okay. Paschimottanasana. So you can just do a gentle forward bend here. So sitting on the chair, you can have the legs bent. You can slide your hands forwards, rest your elbows, and rest your head down. Okay? So you can sit with your hands resting like this, just to let the back lengthen, relax out. And then if you feel like you want to go down further, you can come down to here. And if you want to do full Paschimottanasana, just come back up, you press your hands onto your knees, come back up and straighten out your legs. Now if you feel like you're going to slip, just take your chair and have your legs so that they can go against some support. So maybe a wall or something, a cupboard, something like that, something solid. Okay, and then you can just exhale and fold forwards, have the feet slightly apart and allow yourself to release the head down. When you get to your maximum, completely relax the head down. And let yourself just rest there. When you're ready, inhale, come up. And then bend the legs up. Now to finish off the practice today, we're just going to lie down with our legs on, the calves on the back of the chair. So I've got nice warm leg warmers on, but if you've got a cold chair, I thoroughly recommend putting a blanket on there. Have yourself lying down. Release your hair out. If you've got long hair, that is, if it's tied up. Rest the palms either side of your body. And you can take this as your Shavasana with the legs rested. So it's a really good, this pose is amazing. You know, if you get a tired back, you know, often we get headaches or we get, you know, eye strain from looking at the computers. But we barely think that our lower back might be aching because we've been sitting at a computer all day. But if you find that, if you think, right, I'm just going to take a rest, I'm going to let it rest, it can make a real difference. So this is one of my go-to poses, just for a nice sense of quiet release, really. So allow the body to rest, allow the breath to settle. Let the skin of the body feel like it's being absorbed by the floor. So all the cells releasing down towards the floor, letting go of any outer pressure. And once you've tried this little sequence, if there's anything you want to work on, or you can go back and you can play with it, knowing that the chair can support you. And you can stay like this for 15 minutes, no problem. Whether you're able to stay like this for 15 minutes is a different thing. And then when you're ready, you can just bend up the legs. And here, with your feet on the edge of the chair, you'll feel the lovely space that's created for that sacral area. And you can roll to your side and sit up. Me in my chair.